Hello and welcome to the founding edition of the Big 406 podcast. What's big in the 406? St. Nicholas, of course. Welcome our guest, Dan Nichols, Magic City Santa, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about how that got started, how long you have been Santa Claus?
You know, I would say something like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And it started out just being Santa Claus for family and friends. And over time, I started just picking up gigs. Head Start was one of our early clients.
Oh, nice.
I'd go and be their Santa Claus. There was a great write-up one year in the paper. It's kind of a funny story. I'm at Thanksgiving dinner, and all of a sudden, my daughter runs up to me, holding the paper, saying, "Dad, you're in the paper." No, that can't be me. They didn't take any pictures of me any time. Lo and behold, me on the cover of the Gazette. Pretty cool.
Nice, man. Nice.
So I've been doing it in general for, somewhere under 10 years, and gradually started doing more and more.
Nice. Okay, so your name is Dan Nichols. You own a couple of companies. You own Professional Audio and Lighting, and then you had purchased Magic City Santa. And what does Professional Audio and Lighting and Billings Best DJs do?
Yeah, Professional Audio and Lighting, been in business since 1980. So that's, at this point in time, 42 years. Pretty much what it sounds like, audio and lighting. And, of course, video. We do live production for events where they need sound, lighting, and video. One client that a lot of people might know is the Rural Electric Association, Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative. We do their annual meeting every year where we set up big screens, lighting system, big sound system so that everybody can hear, see, experience their event. Concerts, of course, things like that. Our DJ division, we do all kinds of weddings, private parties, stuff like that.
Awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing at the zoo. Now, I know that you have a option to meet Santa, and then also it sounds like you were doing some sound and some other things there. Let me know a little bit about what's going on at the zoo, why people should go there, how fantastic it's going to be.
You know, it's going to be something that Billings has never seen. Pretty much the front half of the zoo is lit up with displays, and you're going through these displays, and there's apparently millions of lights out there. I don't really know the technical specs on everything, but it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. And, they got everything from an ornament you walk through to a White Castle. Some of these places are individual areas with separate music feeds. It's pretty neat. We put in a sound system that covers pretty much that front half of the zoo, and it sounds pretty good.
Yeah. You definitely know a thing or two about sound. I've loved working on events with you in the past. We've gotten a chance to do that, and you've always got like the right piece to fit like any situation. Can you tell me a little bit more about this zoo event? What is it called? What does it cost to enter?
It's called Holiday Nights. The zoo gets some money off of this. I don't know how that all works either. But it's a fundraiser for the zoo. Again, I'm not 1,000% sure. I understand it's around $20 a person to get in. At some age, kids get in free. I don't know the specifics on that, but for what they did, I think it's pretty good value, and it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. It's gonna be a big deal for Billings.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I know the zoo has always had various holiday things, but this one, I think, from what I understand, they've listened to various feedback, and how can we make this bigger and better and just a more enjoyable experience for people, and bring more vendors and more people in, so that way it can really just be a community event. And I'm excited to go personally, and I don't even have kids. I just got to come and get my picture with Santa.
It's an event for all ages. I think big kids, little kids. I think there's gonna be a lot of kids that are enthralled by the whole thing. It's sad for a lot of folks. Some folks are not happy that the other lights are not part of it. The fact is that stuff was getting worn out, and it's time to replace it. And this is a big, big step up from that old system. And by what I've been told, it's by far the largest lighting display in the state of Montana.
All right, even bigger than that one house that has the enormous power bill somewhere over on the south side. More lights than that?
Yes.
Wow.
By a cup, maybe 2 or 3 lights.
Just like 2 or 3. That guy is going to go out after he hears this, and he's going to add 2 or 3
He's gonna
strings
buy
of
some more
lights.
lights.
Yeah.
Yep.
What sort of ways have you changed your Santa business?
Right. This is important. There's a lot of folks that don't care at all about prints, which we do have those available still, but they're more interested in shooting with their own cell phones or their other devices, or getting a digital print from us. Digital print, that's not the word. Digital image from us via email of us taking the picture. So what we've decided to do at this show is allow liberal use of whatever devices people want to bring and shoot their own pictures and videos. But in addition, we will send you via email images that we capture, but also we can do prints at the event too. So that's pretty much everything you could want.
You were telling me that since the 1990s or the early 2000s, the cost of the print for the Santa image was about $15 for a 5x7 is what you would do, and people would come on up and they could sit on Santa's lap if they wanted to. But if they wanted to buy the picture, then they had to buy the picture for $15. But all of the kids got to see Santa. But you had mentioned that now you're shifting that. You've actually made it so that prints are cheaper. If somebody does want to print, it's cheaper, but they can use their own cell phone. So if they're using their own cell phone, how are you monetizing that?
If they use their cell phone, there's no monetization of that directly, but what we've decided to do is follow the model of virtually every other Santa photography setup, and that is to have a actual sitting fee. So there's a sitting fee of $39.95, and then you come up and you get to have the interaction with moi.
Yes.
And which
the
is
real Santa Claus.
The real Santa Claus.
Yes.
And I gotta say, we get a lot of great response from this, and people just love what we do. So the experience itself is great, but also, again, you can take all your own pictures, all your own video. We are taking pictures, and we can email them to you, and we can also make prints on site. And the prints are, I believe, they're $10
Okay,
for a 5x7 and
so
$5 for the 4x6.
So you lower the price on prints for people who still want to actually get their image right there, and then you just pay for the sitting fee. And then in addition to, the option to buy the print or whatever you're doing, you can also take your own. You can bring your own cell phone, you can bring your own professional camera, and in addition to them shooting whatever picture and video they want, you're going to capture these digital images, you're going to send them, and if they like the digital image enough to get a print, they can print it out right there. But tell me a little bit more about your setup. So you have multiple cameras, like tablet computers shooting the images, and then when somebody gets to print, it's instant. It prints out just kind of like at a photo booth. They get it right away, right?
Yep. That brings up an interesting point. This event is outdoors, which presented us with all kinds of new problems, and we've changed things quite a bit for this event. We are just saying a little bit of a prayer that we don't get really cold weather to where printers don't want to work, cameras don't want to work. But I think if we got that cold, they'd probably have the event canceled for that night anyway. They're not going to have people freezing out there.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a concern, and we have heaters. We're going to do the best we can to keep everything going. But all that being said, what was the question again? I kind of ramble. Santa,
me too.
I make toys. I don't really talk to people.
So yeah, I was just I know people can be resistant to change, right? And if you've always gone and done it a certain way, and then you change it, if people don't understand why you made the change, and I think you told me a story the other day that one of the last times that you were at an event where you were trying to just charge for the prints, and you say, hey, no pictures of your own, just charge for the prints. You were seeing some parents like sneak their cell phones out and take take quick shots and things. And that's all well and good, like I think the natural reaction of a parent wanting to photograph their kid with their cell phone, it's what they do for all of these
Sure.
memories.
Yeah.
That's a natural thing, and times just have to change. The old business model of anybody can come and visit, but we'd like for you to buy some prints just isn't working with this new generation, with this new technology. These parents of young children, they're not necessarily into that model, whereas they might definitely pay for like the experience of sitting on Santa's lap. And so what I'm hoping, because this is such a good event for the zoo, and this is such a good business for you, that you get to be Santa, and you can't do that if it's not a profitable business. And so I was kind of hoping that just we could talk it out and let people know, like, hey, this is the new model, this is why we're doing it, and this is how we're going to be able to have like the best Santa at the zoo and at all of these great events every holiday season.
You made a bunch of great points. The fact is that this is a large part of how I feed my family. So we do need to make money doing this, but that's not really our main thing. The main thing is kids experiencing the spirit of St. Nicholas, the spirit of Santa Claus. And I try to embody that the best I can. And in the past, we've always welcomed everybody to come up, whether they're paying for anything or not, and visit Santa Claus. But we have had to change that with the use of people's own cell phones and the other devices. In order to make it profitable at all, we've kind of had to say, we need to include a sitting fee for it, and that way it kind of gets. There's that. Think of that. Maybe that's the negative, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got to pay a sitting fee, but the rest is all positive, because truly, with it becoming an issue with the cell phones and devices, and that was a huge negative. That was something that we were having to say, no, sorry, you can't do that, and now we can welcome all that. And everybody just relaxes and has a good time, including me. So
plus you get more time with Santa, right?
Yes. The sitting time is scheduled for 5 minutes. However, if the schedule is not tight, that will be extended. We can have a little bit more time. Contrast that to the Portraits for a Cause. Those were scheduled for 3 minutes.
Right.
Again, we didn't cut it off at 3 minutes unless we absolutely had to, but that'll be the same here. If we can give you more time, we're not going to be stingy about it.
So now, I did hear something that you were telling me, and something that a lot of people don't know, that how affordable it is to actually have Santa Claus make a home visit. So you can actually spend an hour with Santa Claus, get pictures in front of the fireplace, in front of the mantle, by the tree, everything in the house. You get a full 1 hour session. You come in character as Santa Claus to just make for absolutely the best Christmas that these little kids have ever had. And what's the fee on that? You said it's $200?
It's $200 for personal home visits. Businesses tend to be a bit more involved, and they're $300.
Okay. Now, if somebody were to go and see you and pay that $40 sitting fee in order to sit with Santa, I heard that you're doing a special discount for people that do that, where you apply the sitting fee to the cost of the home visit. Is that correct? So it makes the sitting fee absolutely free when you schedule the home visit for later.
I like what you did there, sitting free, because that's what it is. We can take your fee that you've paid for the sitting fee and apply that to that $200, so you get it back. And we're excited about that, because that's just more value for our people.
You're not afraid of competition if somebody's uncle wants to do it, but this kid knows. This kid knows that's Uncle Tommy, right? But when the real Santa Claus comes in, I mean, how magical of an experience is that going to be for a kid?
It is magical, and it's magical for me too. This is a transformational event for everybody involved. It's real. For instance, I have family, and my granddaughter knows exactly who I am. But when we are interacting as Santa Claus, she is in that moment, and she is believing. It's amazing. It's very touching to me.
You have actually recently retired because you're, all of the times except for Christmas time, you're your alter ego. You're just this normal guy, Dan Nichols, that runs a sound company. And then your day job was in the same industry. Like we're talking package delivery type stuff. So
Yes.
you were everybody's favorite postal carrier for many, many years. And you have just recently retired from that. You've got your last couple of weeks vacation to run out, and then you're all done with it, right?
That is true. I was a rural carrier for the post office for some years. I don't know, is it 33 years? And that's over. I'm going to miss my people out there, but it's time to move on. And this Santa performance is a big part of it.
Yeah, in fact, that was your desire to make yourself more available for the kids during the holiday season was actually, from what I understand, one of the catalysts in you deciding to retire when you did. And you said, you know what? I would just love to be able to do this, dedicate my full time to making kids' holiday wishes come true. And so then that's kind of why you got into that Magic City Santa thing. It's a complementary business because there's so many other products and services that you can offer to people in terms of lighting and audio and, video production and the photography and the prints.
Right. It would have been impossible for me to do this event at the zoo and keep my day job. So that was a big consideration in deciding to retire when I did. So many things dovetail with what we do. It's a good fit, scheduling-wise as well. A lot of our events that we do the rest of the year don't happen in this time frame. So it allows me to be very focused on this.
I did tell a couple of people that I was going to be interviewing the real Santa Claus.
You told some people?
I did. And a young man named Bryce, he's 27 years old, I believe, and he asked me to ask you, how do you get around to every single house in 24 hours?
Right. Now, this is magic, but it's also science. It's not very well understood science, but it has to do with time dilation. I'm moving fast. You guys are basically standing still. Time is passing real fast for you, slow for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got all the time I need to get it done. I just dilate your time.
Yeah,
I don't know all the technical terms.
I'm not the scientist, Santa. You're
Right.
you're the one with the.
Who's the
physics
scientist here? Anyway,
degree.
watch Stargate. They'll cover that in Stargate.
Okay, so Stargate holds the secret to how Santa Claus gets around.
They gave away part of the secret of Santa without knowing it.
Ooh, man.
They didn't know.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be so tight-lipped about it because the cat's like partway out of the bag. And once the cat's totally out of the bag, imagine if somebody wasn't like good-hearted like you and, they use that time dilation to like, imagine if the Grinch got a hold of this technology and went and undid everybody's Christmas, not just that Whoville, that would be a disaster. And that's why you have to protect these secrets. And that's why parents typically don't tell their children.
Yeah.
Exactly how it works.
Well, thank goodness that the Grinch is now one of the good guys.
I missed that memo.
Well, how the Grinch Stole Christmas tells the story of it's a historical tale. It happened, but he's now at the end of the story. He's cutting the roast beast. He's a good guy. So
you
in
are
our
right
timeline,
there.
Yep. So we don't have to worry about that with the Grinch. But who knows what other bad guys lurk in the corners?
Yeah. So
no time dilation for them.
So speaking of bad guys, you do get to review the good list. What is it? The nice list and the naughty list is
Correct.
how that works?
Yep. Nice list and the naughty list.
Okay. And I'm afraid to ask Santa, which one of these lists am I on?
Well, I'll be totally frank with you. Both. And what I mean by that is that you're like most people. Nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So some days, whoopsie daisy. Other days, you're right on. Now, the thing to remember is that it's an on balance thing, and it really is a measure of your heart, not every little action that you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But, like last night when my friend was picking up all this garbage in the park and I just kind of watched him. Gary's, got a check in the naughty box for that. Whereas my friend who picked up all the trash while I watched, he definitely got a check for the nice box.
Yes.
And the real key is when there's nobody there to appreciate it. Yeah.
That's what they say about character, right? That's who you are when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Except somebody is always watching, right? Yeah.
So Mike, Santa saw you picking up that trash.
Bravo.
It was me and Santa. If the community really embraces Santa business and really came out and showed their support, what sort of things would you like? How would you like to be able to give back a little bit? What sort of places would you like to take this Santa business?
Right.
How would you like to make it a better experience for everybody?
Well, I'll answer the first question first. When I think about it, probably, and this is a general answer, but there's some specifics. But when kids are living in the moment and they're experiencing the true spirit of St. Nicholas, which is one of generosity and love, and when they are moved by it and touched by it in ways that I think they're going to remember their entire life, that is a huge high point. And that happens quite a bit. And to be able to do that with children is very moving. It's a very spiritual time. But over time, it would be a desire of mine to take the spirit of St. Nicholas, this generosity, and spread it as far as I can. There's only so many hours in the day, but there are things that I can do. My predecessor, Jim Jensen, the man we bought the business from, he still does one gig, and that is he goes to the NICU and visits the children, the babies that are in the NICU at Christmas time.
Oh, wow.
And I want to be able to do events like that there's no money in it. It's strictly filling your heart with love and spreading that. And it's pretty powerful stuff.
You owe it to your customers and your clients, and you owe it to the community in general to run a profitable business, which means that, there's so many expenses that goes into running a business, and you always really want to help somebody and you want to make it affordable and you want to make things accessible to everybody. But if you're not really, if there's no extra, then there's no ability to be generous. Like it's not out of line to get a profit, right? Because if you have a profit, then you can be generous with it. And if your Santa business makes a profit, then you will have more capability to bring Christmas to more children. You have a chance to be generous with it. And that's the whole reason why you got into it, is because you love the kids.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the core reason, and everything else kind of stems from that. And while it's true that you do need to make a profit, I believe that the way to make that a strong business is to have everything about it be genuine. There's an old philosophy, business-wise, that was still talked about, but not as much as it used to be, I think, about giving extraordinary service. Have people walking away from that experience going, wow, that was so amazing. That's our goal, is to build the business by giving extraordinary service and a wonderful experience that they're not expecting, and then walking away and just waiting for next year.
You work with charities for adoption, and you have adopted children yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, is that okay to say, or do we need to edit this out? Do the children know that they're adopted?
Our children know they're adopted.
Oh, okay.
It was open adoption, and we've been just honest from day one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love coming to your shop, and our wives both know that, like, okay, I need to come and get a microphone from your shop. And I go, and my wife is like, okay, yeah, but we only have 15 minutes, so I'll wait in the car. And then like an hour later, she'll come in and knock on the shop door, or you'll start getting calls or text messages from your wife. Me and you can just jabber and jabber forever. But there is one non-negotiable, and that is, sorry, Gary, I gotta spend time with my girls. I try to give them every minute I can, and it's
never enough. But when I do need to be there, I've got to be there.
All right. Well, is there anything else that we should know about the zoo event, or maybe a little bit about the dates? You're doing weekends, and then when does it start, and for what duration? And then you'll be doing weekdays at a certain point. Could you?
Right. Yep. So we've got a schedule that focuses on weekends at first and then goes full time. So the hours are always 5 to 9 p.m. And the first weekend after Thanksgiving, so tomorrow, Black Friday, we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we're dark until the next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know the exact dates right offhand. And then we're dark for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we go back in on Thursday, whatever date that is. And then we finish up Santa finishes up on the 23rd of December. They're not open for the 24th and 25th. They're definitely open for the New Year's weekend, but I won't be there. Santa's done after Christmas.
Okay, yeah. So you're up until the 23rd, and then it's mission critical. You got to get all of those presents.
I got to hit
everywhere.
it. All hands on deck. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, I think this was abundantly better than I could have ever asked for my my first podcast for the Big 406 podcast.
Mine too.
Yeah, and so I'm super pleased to have the real Santa Claus on, and I'd love to have you back sometime. Maybe after the holidays when you can just be Dan, and we can talk a little bit more about what you're doing into your retirement.
I love it.
Yeah,
we can just be Dan and Gary.
The Dan and Gary Show. Dan
Epic.
And Gary.
Gary and Dan.
Yes.
Nighty night, and to all a good night.
Awesome. All right. Peace out.